Hey everyone, this is Louis7 and I am streaming The Lord of the Rings online. And what you are seeing right now is just a fun GIF I had from the Mordor Besieged zone as I was going through it on Louis10. But contrary to that, we will not be doing any Mordor Besieged. I should be switching over to my captain now. On the Anor server, we're having a Kin night where we're doing just various things. We're going to start off with Carn Dûm. I guess I should keep my headphones on because I need to join Discord. But then after that, maybe like some deeds. I'm honestly not entirely sure where this evening will go, but I know to start, I will be healing Carn Dûm on my captain. And I hope the playback looks okay because it is very delayed on my page, at least for the stream. But yeah, I'm pretty excited to be healing Carn Dûm. I really like the Moria instances, and this character is still level 50. And on top of that, he needs a few deeds there. I did not realize I had like my level 15 and 10 stuff, and I think the audio is messed up like usual. And for some reason, my speakers are not showing up here, so that's a bit weird. I might have to restart LOTRO so I can actually get the audio working. So I will do that real quick. I always seem to run into issues when I try to do a Kin event with the audio, but it should come back for you all in a minute, but it'll probably be a black screen for a second. Anyway, I can talk a little bit about why I am doing Carn Dûm other than just for healing and for fun and for it being a Kin event. I also wanted to get some Blue Line Captain gameplay for a set of upcoming videos. Starting Monday, I plan to have a set of 4 kind of experimental videos. It's really just something I'm trying new with my channel for videos like I haven't done before. The game should be back up and loading again. Hopefully I can get the audio fixed this time. But the first video is kind of the story of my captain experience, and that will be Monday. Alright, let's see. Oh, my inventory is such a mess on this character, but I can sell and take care of that stuff. Let's see if I can actually use the right audio device this time. Still not for some reason. I don't know why. Normally it works with that. That's the one OBS is set to capture. So I just won't be able to hear in-game audio is the way this stream is going to work. It's unfortunate, but I thought I had something worked out like a few times now, but it doesn't look like it. So you all should be able to hear the in-game audio again. And I guess I took my headphones off once again, but need to keep those on. Anyway, I am going to go to Bree on this character so I can get the VIP thingy, and then maybe we'll come back after I like Carn Dûm or something and do some more of the Minas Tirith, what's it called? The Great Wedding, this volume 5. So that's also possible today. It's really just a variety stream, as I said, of endless possibilities. But the first thing I really need to do on this character is clean out his inventory. So, some exciting things going on is tomorrow I am finally going to have a couch. So that will be nice. And tomorrow I will also, that'll be another Kin event. We're going to be doing Deeping Wall, the raid version for that epic battle. I'll be back on my Runekeeper doing West Rohan quests like in the meantime during the downtime of the epic battles again. I'm so excited to get continued with the quest. I think I finished Edoras last time and I'm ready for Underharrow, if I remember correctly. I forgot this character, it looks like I have one now, but he did not have a class item for like the longest time. So it looks like I have one now. I don't know when I got that exactly, but yeah, his equipment as far as that goes hasn't been too great. I think we are just going a little bit slow. The start time for the instances was supposed to be like 5 minutes ago, but sometimes it takes a little bit for everybody to get going. It looks like we have quite a few people on. They're around the 50-ish range as far as this goes. So what am I doing? I'm trying to use the subscriber town service item. But also my kin got their second Rohan neighborhood, the Rohan housing neighborhood. I probably won't go there just because I don't participate in housing too much to consider it worth the cost for myself, but I know a lot of people enjoy that, and for them, if you enjoy housing, it's probably worth the mithril coins or housing writs. But for me personally, I just don't participate too much in the housing stuff to actually consider it worth it. Otherwise, I shall just get this character ready. Probably want to keep blocker because I will use a shield and one-hander occasionally. Except I have to find my one-hander. I should have a one-handed sword somewhere in here, I think. I have so many different weapons locked. There's a one-handed mace, maybe that's what I was using, and had it like cosmetically set to a sword. Let's see, this outfit, yeah, has a one-handed sword as a cosmetic, so I'll stick to that. And Tome of the Large Gondorian Kite. I wonder why I'm just getting that on this character, if I've just like never sold anything on this character. Why his inventory is like such a mess. It has been a while since I've played him, so like played him to where I actually feel like I need to organize stuff, so that's probably a little bit of the contribution there. Save all my maps just because they might come in handy, and sell everything else. Almost everything else. And I don't know like all the gear. I should have equipped what's best already. So yeah, it looks like I can sell everything, and I guess while waiting to run Carn Dûm, I can go back to Minas Tirith Midsummer, and just because I really need to clean my inventory, I'll go ahead and use the map there to be extra lazy. Unless I've gone crazy with the times, at least we should be starting soon with our event. Just because it's getting so late, I am going to double check before I start bothering everybody in the kin about where the invites are. Just to double check that we actually do have something going on and I'm not like totally on the wrong day here or something. Okay, yep, we should have something going on now. Just wanted to double check to be sure. So, as far as the quests go, oh yeah, I need to do the party from Rivendell, so all of the elves for Midsummer. And I think I mentioned this maybe on Louis, then I'll do like a full Midsummer stream at some point. I'm just kind of loosely doing it on this character. Just happened to stream the beginning of it, and now like getting towards the middle and almost even towards the end of it, I think we're just about getting ready for the Great Wedding. I always call this place Midsummer because that's really what it is, even though the Midsummer event isn't actually going on right now. So yeah, we already have a wedding at Midsummer quest. I was actually about to ask when the invites were going out for Carn Dûm, and somebody else just asked. So as far as today's stream goes, even though it's like a big variety, I don't intend to be streaming that long. So I was actually working on some videos, well, the captain videos that I talked about right before this. So yeah, just getting back to working a little bit on videos, and since I have some other things to do. I think I say this every stream that I have other things to do, but I really do. And if I could get to some of it this evening, that would be good, because as I mentioned, I'm getting a couch tomorrow, so I still need to prepare for that a little bit. technically I am getting a second half of a couch, and the first half came in a box yesterday. Oh, there we go. Apparently they were waiting for me to send out the invites. So I'm supposed to talk to King LSR Aragorn outside the city. I was going up to where he is up here, so I've been going the wrong way the whole time. It's kind of embarrassing. Hello. I guess I should make sure, yeah, Discord's set correctly, so that should be good, because I always have issues with audio, but I think everything's actually set now. Alright, try to navigate again. We'll see, I think that's everybody for Carn Dûm, and we can start it up, but I'll double check before I actually send out the invite. So I need to go to the bottom tier, which I didn't think was city, but maybe it is city stables. It's, yeah, the stables one, I didn't even read that part. So Carn Dûm is a really fun instance, I think. Yeah, it looks like we have everybody. So I'll go ahead and start it. And I think healing, we don't actually have a healer, but healing it with this group will probably make it extra exciting. With like a minstrel who will be partially AFK, it may sound like. Hello. And a hunter who will probably tank, and then a runekeeper. I know I can technically tank on the captain, but I specifically wanted to run this to heal, so that is what I'm going to be doing. Not even necessarily to heal, but to play the blue line, which involves healing. It is the healing spec. So I'll probably do mitigations banner. And if we do a full run, I should be able to get some deeds done. I'll be in healing spec. So looking at the deeds I have, oh, these are Uragarth and Baird Golarian, so I have some in there as well. Here's Carn Dûm. Alright. But yeah, just a few deeds I'd like to wrap up here. Not sure if I will quite get all of them, but I still have to defeat like champions of Carn Dûm. Don't think I ever did a full run of it on this character is one reason I wanted to do it, but I will also be testing out that thing where I record the video while I'm doing this stream. I think so. We can get started, I guess, when everyone's ready. Who do I want to be Song Brother? What does Song Brother do? Crit defense, mastery, tactical mastery. Maybe the hunter, just because I suspect she will be doing some tanking. It's entirely possible that I do a lot of tanking too, since we don't really have one of those aggro grabbing tanks, traditional tanks, but I think it'll make it pretty fun. It's really weird not being able to hear the audio. It's something I used to be used to, but not so much anymore. I also didn't realize this character's morale is, it's not like super low, but it's lower than I thought it was. And I probably shouldn't be using my halberd. I did want to use a one-hander and a shield. probably hide the shield. I don't know why, they just bother me recently here. Hey Stan JN, you have not missed a lot of the stream. It just started, like, well, for me it's like 20 minutes ago, but I'm not sure I actually started the stream 20 minutes ago. That's just when I started on OBS, but we just started doing Carn Dûm. It took a little bit to get that everybody ready and set up with that, so we're really just starting. I think captain healing is pretty interesting because you do need to keep an eye on the fellowship morale, but at the same time you have to pay attention to what's going on like right in front of you. So like if I'm playing my Runekeeper healing, a lot of my time is actually spent looking at the top left of my screen. And of course, if you really wanted to not do that, you could put, like, move your panels. I think a lot of people put their vitals and enemy vitals down towards the middle. I'm not a fan of that because I don't like things in the middle of the screen, like even this auto skill bar I like down there, back where it should be. And one thing with Carn Dûm specifically, since we don't really have a traditional tank, is we have run this with groups without like a tank and been fine in it. But if it's like, if it gets to a point where it's extremely difficult, I can switch to tanking. I just want to do a decent bit on the healing spec here. And in general on the captain, as I mentioned, I actually still haven't done a full run that at least I am aware of, because I still had deeds for like some of the bosses. I think one of the biggest things is with Sure Strike. Okay, so that heal, it doesn't do a 1% immediate, but making sure I keep that heal up whenever I'm battle ready. Gallant Display is good, but it's not the best heal. Valiant Strike is one of the stronger AoE heals I have, and then just a few other things like Rallying Cry is good. So there is some variety there. I also have, I don't think I have the trait for it yet where it affects the fellowship, but at higher level you'd have Inspire that does a decent bit of healing. But I think the mark is actually one of the stronger healing components of the blue line captain, because it restores 4% every 5 seconds. Hey Taylor Lynn, you asked if the captain is good for solo. I would say not that good, in that they're really focused on group content, but they're actually pretty good if you just want to solo like difficult content or do group content on your own. They can be good for that because with tanking they have a lot of strong cooldowns and can just survive fights for a long time, but otherwise they're pretty slow in solo. And Rohan B, he said you just soloed this instance on your level 80 champion. You wish you could have played it on level, but it's really hard to find a group. That is true that it's hard to find a group. With my kin, we had a level progression group that was on Angmar maybe a couple months ago. I don't remember exactly when we switched. Yeah, we switched in July to Moria, so I had this captain left over from that. And we have some level 60, so we're not quite exactly on level, but we're also like 4-manning it, so it helps out a little bit with like the balance and just cruising through it super easily versus like taking actually a little bit of time like right now. But yeah, it's a really great instance, and I think all of the Angmar instances are this way with doing them. Yeah, I guess if we're doing deeds we should kill all the mobs. I don't know what you all need for deeds, but I do need the Uruks and Orcs, I think, are the main ones. Oops. So we're just trying to see what mobs we need to kill for our deeds, because that is kind of the focus of today. We're kicking off like our deed events. Yeah, there's a lot of them in Ingmar, isn't there? Oops, wrong skill. I need to turn my volume down. Alright, so this should be an interesting fight just because it's a boss fight. I don't expect us to have trouble, and we have like a lot of cooldowns and things like that. But I think it just will be interesting to see how we handle it, and yeah, I don't see any issue. I don't even know if this guy really... Yeah, I guess he does count Champions of Carn Dûm. So is a boss. So Taylor, Lynn, you've been enjoying Captain so far? Yeah, it's more enjoyable than it used to be in a way for me. But at the same time, I was having a lot of fun with it quite a few updates ago, like 3-4 years ago. Probably been around 4 years ago when I was having most fun with the Captain, but it's because I was doing so much group content at the time on the Captain that I was enjoying it so much. And I think that's an important part with it, but if you enjoy it solo, that's like not a bad thing. I don't want to discourage anybody from trying it. These mobs are a little bit annoying, especially as a Captain where you can't do much with AoE compared to my Beorning, who I've also been running this content through, and he's already like way up in Moria. This character I haven't played since we moved to Moria. The Beorning was able to just do more in AoE compared to Captain, but some classes have sorry, what was that? Oh, I was about to head down that way anyway. So I always go left right here in Carn Dûm for some reason. I don't know exactly why, but there's nothing actually down there as far as completing the instance. It's the wrong way, but because we're focusing on deeds, we can get the mobs down there, so that's all good. Oh yeah, we do. I didn't realize it was plus 100% XP. That's actually useful for my Captain. This character. Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm going to make this fight more interesting. One thing with the Captain healing is you can't heal like a single target all that well. Everything is like AoE based. I have the one heal, Words of Courage, but it's really... That's unfortunate. So the minstrel died by being tossed into the water. Don't know what happened to my song brother. I guess I got too far away. And for some reason my motivating speech buff went away. For a while there that was a permanent toggle, and then recently they switched so it's not. It's a bit odd. So Taylor, High Elves or Man Race for the Captain. I like High Elves, so usually I play High Elf Captain, but my old Captain, he's a Race of Man with the same name, oddly enough. And your main is Beorning? My main for a low-level progression group is Beorning. It's pretty fun. Tanking on it is pretty fun. I don't enjoy the DPS spec quite as much on it, but tanking and healing are my favorite on that one. Ingmarum, oh, I need a lot of Ingmarum defeated. Looks like, well, we're still fighting somebody, but looks like somebody got lost, but I think somebody else went back for them. Oh no, I almost got tossed into the water. I wasn't really paying attention to my positioning. Carn Dûm's such an interesting instance. I'd actually say all the Angmar ones are, Urgarth and Carn Dûm being the main ones, but this one you run along like this. I don't even know, these platform type things. They look like they're about to crumble and some of the pieces are like coming off. There's actually one of those, so most of these you can just float on, but there is one of these that's like this, but you can fall through it. And I actually fell through it once and that totally threw me off because I'm used to it just keeping you held up. So one thing with the captain gameplay wise that I have to try to get used to more is staying in battle ready to battle hardened state. Trying to keep both of those up. With healing and DPS it's a little bit easier because you have a second skill that'll enter you in battle ready. But even like Blade of Elendil, that isn't always the best thing to use. It gives, oops, that's pressing attack. It gives quite a few things. Got distracted by what was going on in this instance, so way to go down for the trolls, otherwise the actual way is up. So Stan, your first character was a lore master, and when you created a captain you instantly switched to him. You love the captain? Yeah, a lot of people like captain, and like I mentioned, I'm going to have a few videos on the captain. One of them is going to be a little bit more critical of it and some of the issues I have with it, but otherwise most of it is positive. Oh, that's weird. Apparently there's an Angmar that just like randomly walked off the platform things. Really don't know what to call these besides platforms. They're like metal built bridge type things that run along the mountain. It's also weird with Captain just being limited AoE compared to every other class in LOTRO. I'd say they have a lot more AoE options. Even Burglar now has more AoE options, I think, than the Captain. And their cooldowns are a bit odd, but in a way I like it. Kind of similar to the Lore Master. So like Standard of Honor only has a 1 minute cooldown and lasts 30 seconds, so you have quite a bit of uptime on that if you use it frequently, but because it's like technically a cooldown skill, ooh, I almost got tossed off there. It's technically a cooldown skill, I think, at least I don't use it all that frequently, so it's something I gotta get used to with it as well when I play them. But yeah, I enjoy the Blue Line Captain the most. Right now I feel like I can't actually even do that much to really fully get the gameplay because we are going through this pretty easily. And I haven't had to pay too much attention to like focusing any extra emphasis on healing. But at least we aren't one-shotting everything, I will say that. But one of the things I used to do is when people would farm Thorog around level 105, that was something I really enjoyed on the Captain. For some reason playing the blue line in that raid was fun. And that instance, among other things, is how I got all my gold at the time. That was just a fun update for me, update 18. Gotta be careful to not get tossed off here. Rohan B. You asked what is my favorite instance in Ingmar? I would say Uragarth. This one isn't bad. It's not like I dislike this one or even Baird Gularan. But as far as the Ingmar instances go, that one would be my favorite. I also like the raid, the Rift of Nurzgashu. But I think that one's a little bit different to like lump it in with the regular instances. Ooh, be careful. This is a pretty long instance. We're not even like to the good chunk of it, the good parts of it. Not that this is like a bad part of it, but I think relative to what's later, it's not quite as exciting. Should we go down here for the trolls? Or is there only one troll? I'll go do some investigating. Hornblowers? Oh, this just circles back around up here. Oops, I didn't know he'd follow me the whole way. All I saw were the hornblowers. Oh, that's unfortunate too. So that Uruk doesn't count towards the Uruk deed, so it's kind of annoying. Ingmarum silk spinners. They might be one of my favorite mobs, just because you see them in so many places in LOTRO. Oh, but to go back to the instances, I kind of forgot about that. With just a little bit why I like Uragarth so much is... I actually don't really know. I'd have to be playing it and going through it and talking about it at the time to really explain that. I just think it's fun, the path you follow, the different enemies you face, and all the stuff there is in it. And especially nowadays, you can run through it. It's a pretty massive instance, but you can run through it pretty quickly. It's not like what I'm guessing the old days were like, where it'd be like a few hour adventure. It's still a good chunk of time, but not what I feel like it would have been. Not even sure if that's entirely true, if it was like took you 4 hours or something to go through. Wow, that dot is really killing me. I should have some stuff that can heal myself. First of all, I need to get my banner guard back out and get the Song Brother back on the hunter and heal the minstrel. Eventually with all this, if I marked a target, I would have been getting healed as well and actually doing the combat stuff, but that's one of the times with Captain where I just feel like you have to do stuff. And this guy, I always think he's a boss, but he is not a boss. Once you actually see, he's just like a regular Gorthorog Guardian. But compared to all the other mobs, he's just like huge, so seems very boss-like. Did not mean to use Battle Shout there. I have to get used to my new Captain setup, so I used to have a lot different keybinds than what I'm using now. This one works better, but just getting used to. Is this the long way? Ooh, so we're taking a long way to get more trolls for the deed. My inventory is already getting full. That's one thing about these instances that's actually enjoyable, is how much stuff you get during them. It's kind of like Fornost. That one's easy to pick on. It's a scaling instance, and some of those scaling instances, they still have like item drops, but Fornost, and I think Great Barrow as well, is one where that's not the case. For some reason I just thought maybe Great Barrow you do get loot, but I don't think that's the case anymore. But anyway, those ones are a little bit annoying because you're just going through the whole instance and don't get any loot, compared to these ones you get a ton of loot. And I should probably heal a little bit. Some of them are getting a little bit low on morale. I need to get the town thing. One of these pulls, this one should be fairly safe. But I always can't find this thing. There it is. Okay, so I'm going to do this so I can sell. Just make sure I lock everything I actually want. Carn Dûm breastplate. I haven't seen that before that I at least recognize. I guess they're just going to run to this. I wonder if this hole is safe. Oh, that one's not. Some of them aren't. Most of them are safe to run over, but that's one of the ones that aren't, I guess. That was going to take a while anyway if we waited for the trolls to come up. One thing I really like with the captain, particularly with the blue line, is all the ability effects and somewhat the animations that go along with it. The one-handed sword animations aren't always that exciting, but at least the ability effects are pretty neat. So I don't know the long way around. I think it looks like down here is the long way around. We have to go the long way around because we've been going so slow, but we also want to go the long way around so we can get some trolls for our troll deed, which I am at 45 out of 60, so that means I'll still need the advanced one after that. I think even my Bjorning, who's run this many times, still needs some of the deeds in these instances. But they're really good deeds because they do give virtue XP, and they're fairly easy to complete. You can always come back to these at high level and get that done pretty quickly. I've done that on my Warden, Angmar, and more instances, and you also get like all the loot at least while doing that. Compared to very high level stuff, the loot isn't worth all that much, but it's still decent. So we should have a boss fight coming up, and that one should be fun. There is one tough boss in this that I don't think we'll have too much trouble with, because again, I don't think we'll have too much trouble with anything. These instances are pretty easy, but it's a very interesting boss fight. I'm not sure I've actually streamed any of the Angmar instances, so our level progression group was going through Angmar, but then before I was able to come back and start doing videos and streams again, we already moved up to Moria. But I kind of wish I was able to do more of the Angmar ones just because they're so fun. I know I did a little bit of them, or actually I did more of the Angmar raids when the legendary servers got to this point. Oh, looks like we got the boss, so I will start doing my recording and use some of my cooldowns. just to keep up with the healing. On the boss I want to get the mark, so now I can use that. Go to Battle Harden. I'll also use Blade of Elendil, and for now just keep up with the healing and target anybody that needs heals, otherwise everything is passive. At first it seemed like this fight would be a little bit more tough, but he's actually getting healed. I could have interrupted that if I was paying attention enough for it. So I'll bleed him, and then not that my bleeds do all too much, but they do a little bit of damage. There we go. So I got the baseline Trolls deed done, it looks like. And again, this character, it's the first time he actually did these bosses. I went with like the shortcut. So I don't know why I'm looking at the map, but I'm pretty sure we went... I don't know exactly where we go. I don't think we go there, but we have to go into the sewers, I believe. Is it the way we came? Oh yeah, we usually jump. So now you have to like... If this was your first time running Carn Dûm and you had like no idea where to go, it'd be pretty confusing, but you have to go back to the sewers. It's a little bit weird. You have to navigate your way all the way back. My outfit's actually a little bit fitting here. It's a little bit yellow instead of green, and the blue. I wonder if this is one you can fall through too. I just finished it with that one. No, I already did that one. I think this character was when we used the key. So this is one of the problems. Fortunately, people in our group know where to go. I want to know too much. Eventually I might be able to find my way, but we went down the wrong path. I think it's this one, and then we jump, yeah. Sounds like we might skip a boss, which is okay if we don't need them for the deeds, but it's kind of the boss that takes a long time if we do skip that, and we can focus on what we need as a group. Yeah. So are we skipping this boss? Okay. This boss is interesting. Forget what it is. It's Hulk Jam. It's something with tentacles. That summons tentacles and you have to kill the tentacles, but I'm just trying to remember if the boss is like the Watcher, something like that. Or what exactly. So I mentioned earlier that I'm going to be like doing recording clips of this to get some gameplay for my upcoming Captain videos, but I keep forgetting to stop the recording so that I have like extra chunks. Completed Plans of War. Was that Council of the North reputation? Somebody went into the Jello. I don't know if we were in combat before, but I got a little too close to those slugs, so unable to res the minstrel and get my banner back, because I never notice when that thing dies. I still got Song Brother going on. Yeah, Hulk Jam, you said drops a cool taxidermy item. So there it is. I don't know if it's a he or she, but I don't remember that specific item, if it's something that drops all the time, because there are so many things in the Hingmar instances like that. I think they drop, and also the Moria instances, I get confused with those because I don't do too much with the housing. But yeah, I think as far as like what is dropped in these, some of them are neat, so I would believe that Hogtam drops an interesting taxidermy option. All the wrong skills there. So like when I'm already battle ready, I don't want to use a skill to make me battle ready. I did not mean to use Rallying Cry, I meant to use Rallying Cry, but at least with this it doesn't really matter. But I don't know, I guess it's been a while since I've been on the captain or something, but I'm not doing too great here. Kick is on cooldown. Somebody interrupted him though. Oh, we're at the... So I thought we had to go around to the east, but we were on the right side. So I think we should be able to ignore this. Well, at least I can. I'm not in combat, but they're in combat. This is really gross water, because we're in the Carn Dûm sewers, and the water, if you touch it, you die. And there's gross, like, tentacles swimming, and I think it's even grosser than the water that's outside of the walls of Moria, or in the walls of Moria, just outside of Moria. The one where I think the Watcher starts out. So, if I remember correctly, we actually go into a little tower-like area, not there. Oh no, I got too close to the water. Oh, he's going to laugh at me. I need to laugh at him next time. Once I realized you laughed at me, I tried to res before you could get yours off. So this instance at least has some difficulty, and it's more with staying outside the water for us. I've run this so many times and haven't had issues. One time I was definitely pushed into the water. But I think that's most of our deaths, getting like tossed into water, falling in the water. It's kind of funny with instances like this. It would really suck though if it's like the only character that can resurrect in your group dies in the water, and then you have to like navigate your way all the way through this just because it is so complex with all the navigation and that stuff. For some reason I don't think we have to go... No, this is the floor we go to. So I'm just gonna pull everything because that's more exciting than not pulling everything. But here is the boss. these Ingmar never decided to join the fight. I was gonna say that fight seemed easier than usual. Again, with our whole group and some people being higher level. It's not like I expect some difficulty in this, but we also didn't have everybody fighting. This was an interesting room to go through on my Beorning, because there was one of my Beorning's cousins just like standing there frozen in a mall. There's two of his other cousins' heads. There's a flattened one of them right there. It was a very sad sight for him. So this is when I think Carn Dûm, the instance, gets a lot more interesting. Not that it like wasn't interesting before, but it just goes up. This is my favorite part of it. And this is a good section for me to get like exciting gameplay for the upcoming videos. They're talking about the old tournament of the twins, that server, and that wasn't my favorite thing. But I kind of always forget about that server, like until somebody mentions it. I just feel like, for me at least, it was something that was like a little bit forgettable, even though we did some fun like kin events there, but I just never think about it. I think one thing is the reality of the server wasn't what they made it seem like in the announcement. So at first it sounded like it'd be some PvP focused server where you could have people fight people and things like that just in the open world, but what it really was a deed server where you could fight people of the other faction. So from like the initial announcement, and this is true for me as well, like from what I read, I thought it'd be more PvP focused, and there'd be like rewards for doing PvP and killing enemies and like some honor like system, something like that. But it was really all about the deeds, which is okay. It's just I really felt like maybe the announcement was misleading, or just something where a lot of people I play with as well thought it was going to be different. Let's see, we are not fighting enough more ovals, so we need some more. Don't really have anything ranged to hit those. Yeah, I think kind of the same thing. It seemed like from the announcement and things that it sounded like it would be something where you got rewarded for PvP, but then it was about deeds instead. So they were just talking about the same thing I was talking about. Oh, so I leveled up, got enough XP with the double XP that I actually leveled up, and that's one of the things with this character that's like a good side effect from this. For a very brief moment I can tank this instance. Of course I'm playing healing spec, so I don't expect to tank, but then we had the minstrel tanking, and now the hunter, who I expected to do most of the tanking, to be honest, is actually tanking. I'll get us a hope token. That was a pretty easy fight. So there's sounds like the minstrel has to leave. Yeah, thanks for joining while you could. Oh, he already left. I was gonna ask if he was going to stay AFK or if he was leaving. Looks like he's just staying AFK. So we're down a minstrel. Okay, now it looks like he went offline. I thought he was going to be leaving, but maybe coming back, I don't really know. But something fun that we have done in this is pull a bunch of mobs at the upcoming part that really has no part in the instance. I think there is a quest for this area. I'm not sure as far as deeds go. I can look at the mobs and see if we need them. I don't remember what they are. But we can do that. Do you all want to go this way for the Angmarum? I feel like anything for deeds here would be helpful. So this will be interesting, going with 3 people. Downgraded a minstrel. I don't know. I assume the minstrel damage was enough to contribute decently. As far as I know, I think we actually talked about this last stream. With at least my minstrel experience, I don't have too much because I don't play them that much, but their burst damage used to be crazy. So like back before they were nerfed, I'm thinking a year, maybe 2 ago, when their damage was pretty crazy, I would have said yes, definitely the minstrel damage is like very contributing to our progress. But then I think it was nerfed, but not so bad that it's like I think the minstrel would be doing a lot more damage than me, but I don't know compared to the hunter and runekeeper how it was, but we'll probably notice a slowdown. Oh, I got one of my deeds completed. I hope I need honor. Honor actually maxed out. Loyalty is one that's good at level 130, but with the legendary servers, I don't think it is that great. I'd have to actually get it up, but from what I remember looking at the stats from the LOTRO wiki, it wasn't that great. Always like to get hiccups during streams. Hello. So this is a little bit tougher. It looks like I'm doing a lot of the tanking here. Probably didn't help that I pulled all the mobs, but that's like with the captain. Oh, my morale went up with something. I don't know what healed me for so much. I used a potion, but I thought that was after I healed up. But anyway, the captain, most of their healing is for their allies. They don't have quite as much self-healing. So that's kind of one rough part here. If I'm going to be taking the most damage, I will be the one getting healed least. And at least with the blue line compared to, say, the red line or something, I do more healing. But if it gets like really tough, I can switch to the tank spec. Either way, I think this content is the challenge might be like interesting is what I mean. At least the challenge from my end, it's probably like smooth for the other people and maybe just need to do smaller pulls. So I still need, I think, about 200 Angmarum, because I'll get the Angmarum of Carn Dûm advanced. And this part's good for them, but I don't think I will quite get 200 more in this, but it's good that I am getting deed progress. Of course, with the ones that don't give Virtue XP, you get LOTRO points, and yeah, you all can't see the store, but since it opens in an external window, but I have, oh, I was like, so I have 8,200 LOTRO points roughly, and I was wondering why I was so low, because usually I'm hanging around 10,000. At one point I was up to like 12,000, but then I finally spent some on that Mithril Coins bundle when you could get like 400 Mithril Coins for like 3,000 points or something crazy in one of those bundles when I was like way on sale. But anyway, that's totally off topic. The reason I'm relatively low on points, I still have a ton of LOTRO points, just because I don't spend them and get them from VIP and doing various activities in game. But if I can finally get to the point, I bought the Minas Morgul expansion with LOTRO points, which was surprisingly cheap at only like 2,500 points. I think it's even cheaper than some of the early expansions on the LOTRO store, which is crazy, especially considering how much fun I'm having in it. Like, if I compared it to Helm's Deep, just from what I've done without any of the instances or anything like that, I'd already say it's like worth more LOTRO points actually. So if I remember correctly, that is it for this area. I think we need to head back now, right? So this area is for a quest, but we were just getting them for the Ingmarum deeds here. I think the Runekeeper has not been in this instance before. Might not be the case, but at least one of their first times running through. My inventory is getting messy again, so we'll use this overpowered subscriber town services item. Great Sword of Blows. That sounds pretty good, but don't need it. A lot of this looks like a bunch of don't need. Unless I loot a one-handed weapon, I pretty much don't need much of anything here and can just sell it. So I think we can get the mobs on the outskirts here. This could be a tough pull, especially because I am pulling, but I'll try only these to start. The stuns with the Runekeeper and all the AoE with that definitely help with like aggro, and the Hunter, I think they do enough damage to pull aggro off like once they start hitting one mob. Like here I'm taking a lot of damage, but after a moment some of the aggro should be off of me, I would hope. But otherwise might need to run around kiting a little bit and the such until I can get some heals off. Oops. Accidentally used kick and didn't have anything to go with it. I wonder if I'm where Muster Courage gives me a heal. No, so at some point in the blue line, I believe Muster Courage, oh, I can actually get the trait where it heals the captain on you, so that will be useful for some self-healing here, and I think worth my point there. How much does it heal? Okay, it actually heals a decent bit. I thought it healed a decent bit, but I wasn't totally sure on that. So that is one thing that will definitely help my self-healing here. Oh, I didn't get to interrupt him. Okay, I guess we're ready to take on the Ingmarum here. You can pull them one by one, but usually it's more fun to pull them all at once. Not quite sure, it looks like we're already getting a bunch. Alright, might as well just go ahead and try and get all of them. I'll use my cooldowns to be extra safe, and it looks like I'm already... I have a poison on me that will stun me if I can't get it off, but I'll try to use Muster Courage when it's off cooldown and get that. But otherwise the healing's actually staying up pretty well. We had the runestone, I think, stun the enemies, and my AoE heals are doing enough for my group, and I don't think I quite have as much aggro this fight, which helps. But I got the stun. I can shake that off, but I'm already almost out of the stun, and I would normally only shake it off, especially if I expect an upcoming stun. like I'm low on morale and actually really need to be out. Normally that skill, just because it has like a 1 minute cooldown, I try to save it for when I need it, which often means it just goes unused. But sometimes if it's just a long stun and I don't want to be in a stun, I'll also do that. Especially like with this content, I've been saying this a lot, but don't expect too much difficulty. Oh, I used my interrupt, but it looks like he's still inducting. Unless that's just a bug because he was also stunned. So they're Ingvarum over here. Need 181 more. I feel like I am getting a little bit better with the captain gameplay. I don't know if that's just like using random stuff earlier, but if anybody was here earlier, I talked about that I wasn't doing too good like gameplay wise. Just using the wrong skills on accident and getting used to my keybind setup. So my old keybind setup, I would have what's that, shift 1 and shift 2, devastating blow and pressing attack on 6 and 7, and I'd have like my corruption removal basically nowhere to be found, and same with my interrupt. But just trying to get a little bit better keybinds and actually fixing it so my shift bar is at the bottom instead of the control bar. Then move the control bar up one and add function keys F1, F2, F3, and F4, because that's like on my keyboard I have F1, F2, F3, and F4 grouped together, and F5 would be a bit hard to hit because it's like between the 6 and 7 key above that. So that's all I have set up with a function bar, but the point is that actually helps a lot with the keybinds compared to trying to press Alt 1. Alt's a bit hard to press while doing other things. Oh, my morale is going down. That's a good time. I don't know if you all saw, but Muster Courage did heal me for a decent chunk, and it has that heal over time as well, which will help. That in combination with all the other heals I'm giving. So one thing with Captain is they don't have many like immediately strong heals. The strongest one, actually, Valiant Strike is pretty weak. For some reason I thought that had a decent initial heal, but it does not. Rallying Cry might be their strongest initial heal, which is like 10% of my morale, so it's not that much. I'm about to get stunned. Did we miss something, or does that gate not usually open? Oh, here it is. I forgot I was off to the side there. That's one thing, if you rely on me for navigating in some of these instances, that is not a good idea. You'll be stuck and lost for a little bit. But at least like with the Grand Stair, the Morio one, I feel like I've actually learned that and can lead a group through it properly. That one took forever. This one, I think the Morio ones I have down a little bit more, but still not quite all the way with like things like that. So I'm going to pull, if I can, that cargo. Make this fight more interesting. Okay, going to use my debuff remover and Gallant Display. That's one I need to check. So that just does a little bit of healing. I'm not sure what tier I'm at, but it does help. But it has like no healing over time component, even though it's like one of my favorite skills in the entire game. It just doesn't do much healing anymore compared to what it used to. I at least thought it used to have a decent heal. That's one thing like red line and yellow line captains could get it, especially like a yellow line captain. It'd be nice to have that self heal. but I think the healing from it was pretty strongly nerfed. So with these hornblowers, you want to interrupt them if you can, or kill them before they do their induction, because they summon an Uruk, which doesn't count towards anything. So like if you need the Uruk deed like I think we do, it don't help with that. My damage is so low. Like if I try to kill these elites on my own, I could probably get it done. It would just take forever. And I could switch to a two-hander. I could even do that right now, but actually I kind of like using a one-hander. Okay, that was just an interesting looking helmet. It looks like a heavy armor helmet. Oh, that is a bit odd looking. Normally I'm not a fan of helmets in general in the game. It'd have to have the right look for me to actually want to use something like a helmet, but some of the ones are good, like my blue Runekeeper outfit. Well, I tried to remove the stun from the Hunter, but I think it removed a different debuff and the stun like went off at the same time. Actually, I got my interrupt. Let's see, deed progress with Ingmarum. 38 out of 200, so not too bad. I almost feel like running this once more, I could actually get that done. So I gotta remember our way back once again. We have a bunch of Ingmarum here we can get. Go ahead and pull both groups. Oops, don't want to use that. I was about to use Valiant Strike just like to get it going and get the heal up, but needed to consume Battle Readied first. Oh, I'm taking a ton of damage from the archers. Okay, I just need to use some of my attacks here and that'll help with healing. It just takes a minute. I keep seeing my morale drop and it's getting me worried sometimes, but as long as I keep going, it should be mostly fine. And that's one thing with the captain, you just have to keep up with your skills and you'll get the healing eventually. I think none of the skills actually cost morale, so I think like Gallant Display used to cost morale. That's the main one I'm thinking of actually. That it used to actually even be a little bit dangerous to use it just because of that. But I don't think that's so much the case anymore. And I do feel like the pacing without the minstrel is a little bit slower, where I'm able to use more of my stuff. Like, while it's unfortunate he had to go and couldn't get progress for his deeds that he needed, that also means, well, this instance is taking a while, so I've already been streaming the instance for about an hour, I think, maybe even a little bit more. I didn't realize we've been in here that long. Alright, so yeah, we need trolls, Ingmar, we need all these mobs. But what I was going on about was the actual like gameplay. I feel like I can go through more of my moves and actually do more of the healing over time, where before I didn't quite feel like I was getting everything off and really able to contribute too much just because we were going through it so easily. Which isn't a bad thing if we're just running through for deeds. But as far as like my experience actually going through it, there's a little bit, I guess, of longer fights and just more challenge associated with that. Like, I have been getting low on morale. The two people in my group haven't had as much problem with that. And I think maybe, this is totally unrelated, but got me thinking about it, this instance would be a fun one to try to solo on level, but with a different class. I think Captain would be way too slow to try that, even if with the tanking spec it might be possible. I think the tanking spec would be easier than the blue line spec, but I'm actually not entirely sure at this level. I just know at high levels the tanking would be better for trying to solo it. Oh, I marked him, but it didn't actually pull him, so get the troll, and I will pull what looks like a bunch of Ingmarm here. Don't know why there are so many there, but I'll run them back and try to keep myself healed up in the meantime. I also don't have my banner guard. That's one thing. I feel like they just die and I never notice. Well, this is a good time for the banner. Like, get all the AoE damage. Not that it's much AoE damage, it did like 200 damage to everybody in the group, and that's kind of the same thing with pressing attack that's like exciting to use, but between the two attacks it might do like 400 damage it looks like. Okay, really gotta keep myself healed up. I should have a heal coming up in just a second and get another mark. Oop, I'm gonna use a potion. Have muster courage, and yeah, I'll have a couple heals going in just a second here. Yeah, this is pretty challenging in terms of keeping myself alive, but I'm not having to do too much like targeted healing of the two people in my group. But since I feel like I'm the closest thing to a tank, I guess I'll do all the pulling. And I'm a melee class, so it makes a little bit of sense with that. And like in general, the other classes are more squishy, even though my heals affect them more. Alright, so I think we can get some more Ingmarm over here. I wonder what I have for class deeds if this is going to be a deed themed stream. I should probably look at those. So make haste, that is my running one. That is the one that looks like it'll be annoying. Blade of Elendil I've used a lot. Inspire, I do use that, and as I get higher level we'll use it a lot more because I'll have traits that actually make it like useful. So there is this one, the set bonus. No, yeah, that's like gain the benefit of your Song Brother skills, so I'll get like the heal from that. And there's also that trait that makes it contribute to the whole fellowship, so like that'll actually make it a fellowship heal. And power restore, I think. Yeah, and power restore. So I think there are a couple more Ingmarm here, and then we can go on and get towards the tower. But I will look at the other class traits after this fight. So I think we can head to the tower now, unless you all know of any other big groups of mobs we need. I've actually never been around here. It's probably inevitable death if you just go that way, you'd end up in the water, but I'd be curious to try that at some point. So we have this boss, but we have a few like fights leading up to the actual boss fight. And then we can go in the tower, and there's actually a lot in the tower as well. At first the tower goes quickly, but then there is always the parts I used to forget about where once you actually got up on the tower there's just like a few things you have to do and a few rooms, and you have to go in just few areas you have to go in general, and then you fight the last boss, and that's a long boss fight. So we still have quite a bit to go. I'd say we're over halfway done though. We spent a lot of time like in the sewers, and it's just a giant instance, and that's why I really think back in the day when combat was slower in general, and like you went through fights slower, at least for my experience back then. I didn't actually play during original Shadows of Ingmar, but even like during Mirkwood, Isengard, when I started to play, I felt like just everything was slower in the game. Leveling, not necessarily always the pace of combat. They have done a lot of changes to improve the pace of combat where there's like fewer animation delays. That was just one annoying thing with LOTRO that I think with some classes, including the captain, still like is a thing. Today it doesn't seem as bad. I don't know if I should test that again. I don't remember exactly when I tested that. But I do know, like, compared to the Guardian, the delay between skills was pretty significant. Not like the Burglar was actually less than, they were about the same as Guardian, which was like Guardian was 0 seconds because all their skills is fast. But I thought with the captain, some of them were like half a second. But I'm not really noticing anything that long. Could have been maybe some lag as a contributing factor, but actually everything seems to be going pretty quickly. There is a little bit of a period where you're actually done with your character's animation before your next skill will go off, but as far as like the duration of sitting there doing nothing between like the green borders of the skills, there's not quite as much with that. That's the thing that would always bother me on, especially the champion back in the day was horrible with that. There's a whole thread on the forums about it that I actually found when I was doing some of the investigation with this. But that'll actually be a topic in an upcoming video at some point. If I ever get to these videos, it will be a topic in a video, that is. I'm actually running out of power. Probably doesn't help I keep using Gallant Display, which just takes a ton of power, but I also have a ton of power potions, so can use those. That was actually tough. I could have healed the Runekeeper a bit. Oh, there's Champions of Carn Dûm Advanced, so apparently I did need the second part of the deed, the Advanced deed. I just thought I was done because I did Champions of Carn Dûm, like the base one, and that part 2 was like a completely separate deed or just like part of that. Because I did do the rest of the instance, just not the first part on this character. I don't think that means I probably have not killed Helgcham, but I thought I did. Helgcham? Whatever I'm calling the name of that boss, I feel like it's not quite correct. If you all wanted to take like an AFK or a break, I know we usually do a little bit into the instance before we start the tower, that's okay. I'm fine continuing on. Right, I don't know if we're actually going to. It sounds like we could continue on. So Oscar, you said it always feels like I'm 2 casts ahead of the effects on my champion. Yeah, that's the class that I've always thought it's been the worst on. I know they updated the champion with it, but to me it still feels pretty bad, and kind of similar on the captain. I feel like these are the 2 worst classes at a pick onto. Guardian's nice because all their skills are fast, so they don't have that issue. Burglar, not all of their skills are fast, and they actually used to have the issue, but when they did the somewhat recent update on them, I think they changed it so that all their skills effectively behave like they're fast, but I'm not entirely sure on that. I also don't know some classes, like ones with inductions, exactly if it's bad or not, because what I've played like induction based classes, which is really just Hunter and Runekeeper. I'm trying to think if there are any other induction based, like there's Minstrel with healing, but a lot of their damaging skills are actually instant cast. Yeah, with the Minstrel their attacks are instant cast. And they're actually tactical, so that would be an interesting one to explore if there is much delay. It's not something I paid attention to, the range classes, as much, which probably means if I haven't paid attention to it that it's not as big of a factor on them. Well, they're, once they got all the dots on me, like the armor ends and the poisons and the stun, and there's another stun upcoming that I couldn't remove, so I'm about to be stunned for 10 seconds. Maybe? I guess I wasn't stunned. Maybe because I was out of combat. I was just like sitting there waiting to be stunned. So Oscro, you said the Minstrel feels smoother because of more instant casts. Yeah, I'm trying to think. They do have all the instant casts, and I think their animations in general are pretty short. It's like shouts, and especially with like the ballads, that's really all it is. But that's something I should probably pay attention to when I play them again, just to get an idea, compare it to classes like the Captain and Champion, all the melee ones that I actually think of the issue on. I don't think Hunter has any issue with that. They're a little bit of an odd class because it's not a class I like dislike, and it seems like it should be a class I like with the range and all that, but it's just not always a class I really want to play. This would be a real nice time to be an AoE class. That much I do know. Captain here is very much single target focused tank. I'm not even tanking. I'm talking about it like I'm a tank. Even non-tanking, they're very much single target focused. Even though they're overall like buffing focused, they just don't have much AoE going on. I don't think it's something I see brought up much when people talk about like single target classes. Probably usually talk about single target DPS specifically, which the Captain wouldn't really be like single target DPS because they're more support buffing. But yeah, they're really single target focused, and I think now even more so than the Burglar, and I think I mentioned that earlier in the stream. So Wolf Mika, hello, and you're going to be making a tune to use a 120 Valeron. That's pretty exciting. You have played every class but don't know what class to pick. I would say, trying to remember which boss this is. Okay, this is the Moroval. I would say to pick the one you have. That's the next one. Normally I just say go for the boss, but with this group we might need to do the side rooms first. Oops, accidentally used my stun remover because I had my finger stuck on shift and press 6. Oh, maybe I should move that to like shift 8 so I don't do something like that on accident. And Rohan B, your Hunter is your favorite class because of the travel skills. Yeah, the travel skills are nice on Hunter, especially because you can port other people, but to get to your kind of question, Wolf Mika, I would just say pick what class you have most fun with, and if you already have that like towards max level or high level, like around 120 and kind of all set with class trait points and virtues and all that nice stuff you get with the 120 boost, I'll go with the next most fun class. Because I'm kind of similar. I've like played every class, I have a character of every class, but especially my 95 plus ones on Arkenstone aren't built that well and don't have like all their trait points and don't have all the virtues, so even boosting like a class I already had 120 like I did with Warden was a nice choice. Because I got all the stuff that went with it. And then if I boost, I have like a 105 boost back from the when I bought the Mordor expansion, I just never used it. I'm considering using that like on the Runekeeper, which is my second favorite class. I don't know what other class I would really boost on that server, just because I don't play it quite as much. Well, we're still alive so far. I think the Runekeeper here froze. Oops, not paying attention to my morale. I was reading chat. So, British Beef said the captain with pressing attack, max target, banner drop, and shout mixed together do good AoE. Or do food AoE is what he said, I'm guessing good, but now I'm just hungry, but yeah, they do okay. I would actually have to play Redline Captain too. Really fairly assess their AoE, but as far as like what I'm doing here on the blue line, it does low damage to begin with, so the actual like AoE I do compared to single target isn't that much, and from what I've tanked on Captain, it's more single target focused as well. And I know even like in DPS you can spread the bleed from cutting attack with Grave Wound, or the other way around. Don't remember exactly which order it is. But they do at least have some AoE options, and I kind of forgot about Routing Cry. That does, at low levels, a ton of damage. I think it does about as much damage as it did at like level 7 for me. With this current setup I have with a one-hander and blue line. That's about what it did when I was a fresh captain, which is pretty crazy. That it like does no more damage. Even, I do have the equipment changes in like blue line now, but I feel like the scaling on that skill is pretty poor. If I can remove this debuff, I won't be stunned. Got the animation cancel and interrupt. That's when the interrupts are most fun, when you actually get the use out of the interrupt when you use them, like to animation cancel. So I believe we have 2 more rooms. We should be able to do both. I think I've been pulling 2 rooms almost this whole time anyway. Yeah, until they get here, I'm just going to be taking a ton of damage. Ooh, did we pull the boss too? That is not good, because I'll probably start taking too much damage here. Need a defeat event before I really want to use Route and Cry. Oh, I got a heal from something. I don't know what I'm randomly getting healed by. Maybe I should look into that. Unless it's somebody in my group that's healing me. Got disarmed. I might be kiting around a little bit just to avoid taking damage here. Alright, I'll have my banner to drop in a second. I need to kite around a little bit and look at my inventory. I have this, okay, that's a really low tier potion, can just use that. For some reason I don't think my interrupt worked. Maybe I was targeting the wrong mob though. So Patrick Rayborn, to get to your question, I forgot about that in the chaos of this combat. You asked if they are making a new LOTRO MMO, and not a new LOTRO MMO. I think Amazon Studios is making a Lord of the Rings MMO, but that will be completely separate from LOTRO. Oh, I guess we didn't get the boss. I thought we pulled the boss in that fight, but it doesn't look like it now. So, British Beef, you say you agree for instancing AoE on Cappy is weak. Yeah, compared to other classes, that's mainly what I was thinking. But when you are questing, you find it fun. And I think that's kind of the combination you were talking about with, don't know what skills I'm using here, pressing random buttons while reading chat, but you use the archer add to get aggro, and then you aggro them into a ball and go in with all your AoE skills. Yeah, that does sound fun with the captain, and they do have like a good combination they can use with pressing attack and rounding cry and the banner. The banner, and of course, increasing your damage, and I think if you use like the in time of need skill, that'll give you a defeat event to make routing cry extra strong. So I could definitely see that being a fun combo, especially if it does a good enough damage for whatever like level you are and whatever content you're doing with like whatever gear you have. Well, my chest piece is actually pretty bad. It just has might, vitality, and fate. That's probably one thing. I bet my physical mastery is very low, 115. But yeah, I think most of my gear set up. Oh, it looks like I have a decent mix of physical mastery, but generally for tanking, probably. So I think when we head up here, this is when we have to go down halls and things like that. Yeah, time of need is actually one of my favorite parts of the red line captain. I think you can get that playing the other specs. I don't know if the builds usually go into red line for that. So like the blue line build here, I really just play it for fun because I enjoy the blue line most. A gallant display really helps with that, but just I feel like the healing part of captain is fun, even if, especially at like high levels, it's not like a viable main healer. But it at least does enough for some things. Enough was probably a bad choice of word for that. I guess it does enough for it to like heal easier content. Ooh, the Innkeeper's taking a lot of damage. Not much I can do with direct healing again. I actually don't even have any of my cooldowns on this character. I pretty much just have the one heal over time and the rest is passive. Similar to trying to heal myself, the only difference is I have words of courage instead of muster courage, and the self-heal on muster courage is actually quite a bit stronger. Actually, the overall heal on it is stronger, not just the initial heal, but the heal over time looks a tiny bit weaker. Oh, I just saw my debuff too late. I was too busy looking at my skills. I don't know why, but today feels like Friday. Speaking of Friday, I will have a video tomorrow. I have so much going on tomorrow. It's kind of going to be a crazy day, but as far as like streaming later in the day, should have no problem with that. I keep thinking I'm like going to go back on Louisden tomorrow, but that is not the case. We have another kin event we're going to be doing, Deeping Wall. I think that'll be an exciting epic battle to try on raid difficulty, but I feel like soon enough I'm going to get really tired of epic battles, but maybe not. Hopefully not, like as I get more promotion points and just things to do. I'll start finding them more interesting, but otherwise I might not be playing with my kin too much if I really do. Like if I really start disliking them, I might just like do other things with the kin. So Christopher, you're asking, does the red line captain have DPS? You don't play captain often? So on their own, red line captain does not do much damage because they are very much group oriented. So red line captain does a lot of buffing for the group, and in terms of that they contribute to a ton of damage because their buffs are insanely strong. So if you think about how much damage they buff, they do a ton of damage, but the actual like damage that you will be doing as a captain is not all that much. But the way I would kind of recommend thinking of that if you're thinking about how much you're contributing if you're playing a redline captain is if you buff your fellowship's damage by 20%, so your other 5 members, and they do like 100k DPS each, and this is like just very simple example, then you contribute, like if they do 100k DPS each without your buffs and then you add 20% on top of that to everybody, you'll contribute 100k yourself with that plus whatever DPS you actually do, which could be like roughly 50k or something like that. And those numbers are like by no means accurate, but just a way to think about it. That because of how much damage they actually contribute, especially at higher level when you get a lot of traits, and just they give something like there it is, Oathbreakers, which gives plus 35% incoming damage for 10 seconds, and they have a bunch of other buffs on top of that, like their standard here. Once you get that fully ranked up, it'll give plus 20% damage for anybody in that area for 30 seconds. And you have just all these buffs going on. You even have your mark, which gives plus 5% incoming damage, and then actually plus 10% incoming damage with the second trait. So yeah, it just contributes a lot, even if the actual damage they do is not great. And I'm playing the blue line right now, which is extra bad with the damage, even though it's the most fun for me. I just don't do too much damage, but I do some healing and have some really fun effects with my skills. So British Beef said, if mobs seem hard, you switch to blue and soft tank with self heals, but mostly try to chop them down with DPS before you fall. Yeah, that's kind of what I do on my high level captain. I also do the yellow line. I'm not sure entirely with him because he doesn't have many trait points and is like stuck in Mordor with bad gear. That either of those like work really well and kind of hard to compare the two because everything's difficult. So my best option is usually just trying to kill enemies before they can kill me in the red line. And Oscro said, if you wanted to multi-box, a captain would be great. That is pretty true. If you could set up like a tanking on. So Gunlog, I don't know if you have been here, but if you go out this door, you can get progress for a deed. I don't know if I have done this on my captain. I think I have because I have done the tower part at least. I'm pretty sure you get a deed from that. That's at least what people have told me. I hope I'm not just spreading false rumors with that. Wow, so I used my banner, it was interrupted, and now we're all going to die. I know Lore Master is the most common, I think, for people that multi-box. Pretty easy with the pets. They help a lot with that, but yeah, Captain, they do have the Heralds, which would work if you had all them on Archers, but if you actually actively played them and did the things where you like send the keystrokes to the next window and all that type of stuff, Captain would be good because you have all the passive healing if you had like one in blue line, and you even had a tanking one, which might just survive better and take aggro a little bit. Be hard to manage multi-boxing, but then you could have the red line ones boosting damage. It's kind of interesting how many Cargles you kill. From what I have heard, they're an unrealistic amount in LOTRO. But from like a gameplay perspective, I feel like it's almost necessary, and as many people know, I am not most familiar with LOTRO lore. Lord of the Rings lore, I should say. So I don't know how true that is or how untrue that is, but they're pretty neat in the game. That's pretty much as I know. And since they are relatively uncommon, it's still nice when you see one. So I guess you get like neat loot from the boss. It looks like it's dropping purple gear. I should probably use my little subscriber town service cheating thing to vendor. Shoulders of Mirkwood in Carn Dûm. I guess they added these shoulders before like Mirkwood was released, and they even have cuirass of Mirkwood. If you want to, I could switch to tank. That's up to you all. Oop, I've been in heal the whole time. Yep. Yeah, if we didn't... Okay, yeah, if we didn't have a healer, that would have been good, probably. So the Runekeeper didn't know I was healing this whole time, which is okay. Oh, should probably use a hope token for us. I have plenty. Oh, I'm using the level 15 one. I didn't even realize that. I used a hope token earlier. Like, I thought our dread went away, but maybe somebody else used one as well. But I gave us +1 hope. Both times in that I have this +5 hope token, I knew I had better ones, but I didn't know the weak ones I had were +1. I thought they would have been like +4, just like shorter duration. But it looks like some of our dread went away. I don't know. We have like +4 dread. Let's see, maybe somebody else did use. Ooh. I don't know, yeah, with this boss it might be, my heals might not quite be as good. If I can find my cursor, I'll get rid of that debuff, and if I actually actively participate in the gameplay a little bit, I can do a bit more with healing. But because it is so passive, and if somebody just takes a lot of damage at once, and then they're about to take a lot of damage again, that's when you can run into trouble with the captain healing. But otherwise, I'll just try to keep my heal over times up. So British Reef, you're completely relearning your captain as you started playing again after 5 years. They have a lot of change to how you used to play. Oh, they changed a lot to how you used to play. Yeah, a lot of classes have gone through updates. For a while, the captain actually wasn't changed all that much, but I think at this point they finally have gone through a few updates. But when they were doing like Standing Stone Games was doing their initial rebalancing and restructuring of in-game and how all that worked after a long period, and like Pelennor, or not Pelennor, but Anorian and Gondor, where there wasn't much instance content. They had like Throne of the Dread Terror raid, but a lot of the balance stuff that's in the game today wasn't really in it back then. So I think that would have been under 5 years ago that they really started all that, and Captain was, as far as I know, one of the later ones to receive some major changes to their gameplay, especially like improvements in solo gameplay. But yeah, they have gone through changes, I guess was the point after like all those years. I think one of the biggest things I've noticed is their heals are even weaker than they used to be. I think particularly I mentioned Gallant Display is weaker than it used to be, which is unfortunate because it's one of my favorite skills in the game. I wish I had a Force Taunt for when somebody in my group's taking too much damage and I could help with that a little bit. I'm also not sure if I had my mark on the enemy. And I think also the healing mark used to actually be better at healing, and that's one thing they changed as well. Because with all the trait points in the game now, like red line and yellow line captains could get the blue line mark, and the healing from it would be pretty crazy. So that is one thing with that. So you last played at Dol Amroth. Dol Amroth was one of the more enjoyable parts of Ingmar, not Ingmar, we're in Ingmar right now, Gondor for me. Just kind of a random thing. But there wasn't really much point in doing any of the content, I felt like. Because there were dailies you could farm for gear, but there weren't like any instances, as far as I remember, that it really felt like it was worth doing all that. There were scaling instances, I don't know if people ran those, or what people, like usual raider typekins and players, what they really did at that point. Because I wasn't playing LOTRO as much, I guess I didn't know, and everybody in my old kin on Arkenstone stopped playing at that point. Okay, should get a few heals on that Runekeeper and just stay alive a little bit longer. All my heals will start going off. This is an interesting boss fight. It really does take forever. But you are also fighting like an arch nemesis. As a fellowship, we're actually kind of running this as a small fellowship. Well, looks like we have worst dread effect again, which doesn't help with like my healing style on the captain, because all my heals are heal over time based, and then they have a low morale cap. It's kind of scary. There's just less cushion before somebody like really needs to be healed up. And oh, my hope tokens are off cooldown. I can actually use those. Oh, I didn't realize I had the trait to make that immediate. Maybe I could have waited for the hunter to die. Did you get my res? Okay. Yeah, my healing might be too weak for this fight, this part of it. Wow. Yeah, I think the Runekeeper's lagging a lot on top of this being a tough fight for me to heal. But got it settled a little bit, just take a ton of damage. Not just me, but other people in the group, and the dread doesn't help interrupt him. I might actually save my banner. I don't know how much initial healing it does. I think it does 12 morale every 3 seconds. Doesn't even do initial healing. Maybe I'll go ahead and use that then. Ooh, Runekeeper taking aggro is not a great thing. I just don't do enough damage that I can keep aggro off of them. Oh, and I'm running out of power, especially with Gallant Display. Do I have any potions? There we go. I am rooted, which doesn't help. I can give my banner guard, Flagman, here, Song Brother, so I can at least use that skill. Oh, he has a heal, so when I've been randomly getting healed, I think that is Lend Courage from my banner guard. I totally forgot about that skill. Because I've mentioned a few times throughout this, I've just like randomly been getting healed, and it's like almost my full morale, and that would be why. So I have a few universal type. Ooh, didn't even have time to look at those. So yeah, that fight was difficult. We were taking a ton of damage. We actually got him about halfway down. Then I started paying attention to my potions, trying to find one to use, and never got that, but that's okay, we can run back. I can also switch to tank spec. So I'll probably... Oh, I need to respec. I think I was trying red line out on this character. I just need a minute to set it up. Oh yeah, I have to try out Threatening Shout. I haven't done too much actual tanking since that's been a thing. Routing Cry, wouldn't mind getting one of those. It won't help too much with this fight. Harm's Way, that's a tricky one. Normally I think it's something that's useful, but I don't know for this exact content if I want it. I think it is at least worth 1 point. Grave Wound, get the Force Taunt on that. Crit Defense, I think. Incoming Healing. Could get 1 point on that. Block Chance or Crit Defense. So I'm not sure the way it works if you're looking at like critical chance versus physical mastery, if this is like somewhat comparable to that, is outgoing crit chance. 1% of that is worth about 2% of physical mastery. Roughly. I don't know if it's similar with this, like 1% of crit defense is worth 2% block, but I'll go ahead and just put it on block for simplicity, and then put 1 in Turning Point to get the incoming healing buff. And do want my standard. The incoming healing buff from that, getting the percent on that would be okay, but I don't think I really want strength of numbers and get both points in that. So just gotta get my skill bar set up a little bit, move my skills to where they normally are. Don't need that. I'll move that up there, 2 arms over there, and Harm's Way. Actually, in Harm's Way, I'll put over there, strength of numbers here, and everything gets to moved over 1. Threatening Shout and Lindell's Roar. So Threatening Shout is a single target force taunt, and a Lindell's Roar is an AoE force taunt. Okay. I will try those at actually Shift 4 and Shift 5 for now. Okay, I think I am set up with my tank captain. Are you already? Okay, actually I have to repair. Okay, I think it helps to get a little bit of variety with the gameplay anyway. I've been healing the whole time, and just to get a little bit something different going. Can do some tanking. It will be unfortunate with the damage loss of not having the Runekeeper damage, but we should be able to make do. For Shield Brother, I will probably do the Hunter. Maybe I'll actually do the damage buffing banner this time. Oh, hello. Yep. We just got defeated by the Witch King. Yep, we're right back at the beginning. So the minstrel who left just came back. For some reason I feel like my captain's just slower in the yellow line, and I don't know why. I feel like the animations are slower or something, and it's kind of weird compared to the blue line. And I don't know why. I don't know if it's an actual thing, but it's just kind of feels like it. I'm also not really using the skills as I should be using. Or no, I'm thinking of the red line where you do cutting attack then Grave Wound. Doesn't matter as much with this. I don't know, it hasn't even been that long since I played Captain, but I'm just like totally out of the playstyle of it. It took me so long to get used to playing it again. But I'm actually enjoying it more, I will say, this time around compared to my first wave of level 50 content. Even tanking isn't too bad. There is a bit of downtime with tanking where I'm not doing quite as much, but compared to when I first did some level 50 content on this character, it is so far better than that, I would say. Like, better as in more enjoyable for me here. I'm still doing very low damage, but that's okay. I think Captain might be the lowest damage tank spec, even behind Guardian, if I remember correctly. And then Champion, I don't know how they compare to Bayoning DPS. And then as far as I know, Warden does the most like DPS as a tank. Oh, I thought he was here. Oh, I need to invite him. Whoops. Thank you for the reminder. Let's see. I was like waiting for the minstrel to come. I thought he was in here and I forgot I'm group leader and actually have to do the inviting. But yeah, that was unfortunate with the boss fight that we weren't able to get it done. I just think taking too much damage and not ready for the dread, and apparently my token was off cooldown that whole time. But this time it should go. More smoothly when we have our minstrel, and I'll be in tank spec. Yeah, death by the housing cuts that, I don't know if you're talking about us killing the enemies or the boss killing us, but that's what it felt like. We were like slowly pushing through and then ultimately he just ended up killing us. Here, I should actually run back because I can give, actually the hunter has find the path, which helps, but that's actually only 15%. For some reason I always thought that was 20%, but I have make haste, which gives plus 25% run speed for a little bit. So now we can run faster. I think the Runekeeper did not get that. But oh well, it's just something to speed things up, speed the running a little bit, since we just have to run straight to the tower. So it's kind of funny in LOTRO if you're just like looking down like this. One thing I feel like some people do in games, I'm thinking more when I see people play like Nintendo, like Super Mario games, like I'll see people just looking down at the ground a lot. But one thing with LOTRO, I was just thinking I have my camera like this, but there's the neat tower and all that. If you actually look up, sometimes you just have to look around. But, yeah, we'll get back to this tower and get back to the boss, and I think I just talked about this, really repeating myself. Got a lot of crafting mats, probably a decent chunk from this instance, like the barrels and all these scholar items. I wonder how much I can actually look with the mobile auction house. I'll move that to alt 5 so I can actually find it. Open the auction house and let's just check how much these are worth. There are none in the auction house, which means I can probably post 158 for 158 gold. That would probably be what it is on Arkenstone, just because the prices there, from what I've been getting some crafting stuff on Louisdom for, are crazy. But it makes sense, I guess, with how much gold people make and how much gold is in the game on that server, but compared to the content we have on like Anor, you're getting to where you can make a lot of gold, like 1,000 gold, just doing in-game content, but it takes a while still, and not like where you'd be able to easily spend, I think, 1,000 gold on crafting mats and then quickly make it back. Otherwise, I don't know about crafting mats. I've talked about this in a couple of streams, but it's yeah, I just have so many crafting mats on the server and I don't craft. It's oh. I don't know why he started running after us when we got up here. Maybe just like once you enter the room, but I think we still have the Runekeeper and Carrier running. I don't know why he's so slow, but he made it. Shield Brother, probably on the Hunter again. You got one? All the fancy stuff we were missing earlier. I used a token but accidentally used +1 hope. I didn't even realize I had one of those. I also have these things. Apparently they're also worth a lot on Arkenstone, which I think makes sense if you're like pushing in-game content. That getting the 5% morale and power up there is actually something that helps. But a lot of those that I find are bound to account. So British Beef, you're running around questing and collecting alarm. It's easy to get enough for a crafting level and sell the rest for about 500 gold. Each area I quest through Red Mark and Kellenard make good cash. Oh, running around questing and collecting ore, that makes more sense. So yeah, the thing with Louisden is I used an Array of the Valor on him. I'm thinking specifically with Arkenstone. So I wanted to... Am I rooted or did I do something? There's the root effect, I didn't see it before. With him, I wanted to like go back and... or not go back and have to farm everything. I just wanted to buy everything because I have a lot of characters on that server and even like some other level 120s, and lately I've been saving my gold, haven't spent it on pretty much anything since before Mordor, really. I haven't played quite as much before Veils of Anduin on that server, especially with the legendary servers coming out and all my playtime coming here. But the point is that I had a lot of gold saved up on that server, so I had like 2,000 gold that I sent to Louisden and still probably like 2,000 or so more on that server. I'm not sure exactly, I might even have had more. Yeah, I got the advanced one. I didn't realize that was a thing. Cause yeah, I think this character just like did the tower and went through with the keys, as I mentioned. I don't know where my banner went. I used my Standard of Valor and it never came out as far as I know. That is pretty weird. So I just realized somebody in my fellowship, I haven't been reading my chat box on the bottom right here with like the can. fellowship and like raid chat, but somebody in the group actually, their mic isn't working, so when I like asked the question if people were ready, I was like, no answer, and that was why, because I wasn't reading the chat. Yeah, you're just like running in place for me. It's kind of unfortunate that the lagging one is the Runekeeper, but at least I can do a little bit of heal topping off. It's one thing with captains, they're so versatile with things like that. Like my heals aren't super strong, but Words of Courage does a decent heal over time. After like the full effect, it'll do 2,000 or so morale. I forget I have like an AoE force taunt now, the captain. I don't remember the old threatening shout, that was AoE. It's just changed to Elendil's Roar. And I think Elendil's Fury reduces the cooldown and increases the target, so it makes that even better. I don't know Threatening Shout. Okay, that one was the one that was reworked into single target. But yeah, they really helped with the Captain Force taunts. I haven't played tank since then. I think I got distracted. I was talking about Louisden and leveling up his crafting. He had Valor. So I was buying all the mats. Of the ones I didn't have, I had quite a few of the mats. Like, oh, so he's a tailor. I was doing like Forester, trying to get that, like, even the master tiers, and I was going to try that for the ore, and the ore is extremely expensive, and it's something you can get pretty quickly. Like you said, just going through a crafting level, you go through and collect that stuff when you're questing, and you get enough. But because he was on Mordor Besieged, I just wanted to get like straight to that, especially considering I was like keeping up with the series, the streams on that. I didn't really want to go back and farm that stuff, even though it would have been an option. But it is nice to know on that server if I level an alt, which I'm not sure I'd ever do on that server. I'd probably stick to this server for that, as far as I know for now. But or if I even went back to one of my higher level characters, that is a very good way to make gold on that server, it seems like. You can just go back and run around and farm old ores. And one of the places, or some of the places that are very good for that, are the group content, landscape group content areas from Eriador? Don't know. Oh, my shield brother's the one that died. That's why I don't have that buff anymore. I noticed my morale was getting low. As I mentioned, the Runekeeper's having lag issues, and they're the healer. So just being extra careful with my morale here. But with tanking, I have cooldowns. I even have Last Stand, which is one where like you cannot die. It's pretty neat. It's like the old Warden one. Or the ones Wardens technically still have, but I don't think it functions properly. So with the Warden one, it's supposed to prevent you from dying. Like, if you go down below like 15% morale, it heals 50% of your morale, something like that. It's called Never Surrender. But that cooldown is also supposed to prevent you from dying. So if you're at, like, at 40% of your morale and some attack does something crazy and would kill you from that point, say it does like 60% of your health, whatever that is, it's supposed to block that. But as far as I know, it doesn't actually work like that anymore. It used to actually work, but I don't know exactly what's going on with that to know for sure. But if you're taking like steady low damage, it works on the Warden. So good, we managed to talk about the Warden in the stream. Always important to be able to talk about them some, but how do we get to that? Oh yeah, Last Stand. Just the Last Stand is pretty neat because it lasts 7 seconds, so that whole time you can be at like 1 morale and keep taking damage and you won't die. And then it'll heal you for 20% after that. So it's like, there's 7 seconds of content left. Like if we were fighting this boss and everybody was dead and I was at like 2 morale and use this, I would have 7 seconds to kill him and then I'd get the heal. Wow. So the Runekeeper is lagging so much. They're still seeing us fighting the boss, which is crazy. Oh, I got a sword. It's not an upgrade though as far as DPS, but DPS doesn't really matter. It does have ICPR, does have Vitality, Might. So I lose a tiny bit of Vitality, a little bit of parry rating, but I gain some Might. I don't know, I already have a sword cosmetically, so it really doesn't matter. But yeah, as far as Carn Dûm goes, we are done. That took about 2 hours. It's a pretty long instance. We are only running with like 3 people. 3.5 we had the 4th one for a long chunk there. Let me dismiss Carrier, because he will get in the way. Here, I'll do it a little bit better this time. There we go. It's a fun area to take screenshots. So the Runekeeper, as I mentioned, is still lagging, so we're just waiting for her to get done with that. That's what the subscriber town services is for. I could do that right here. So the minstrel had to go clear out his bags. I have, like I mentioned with crafting stuff, it's just, I feel like so unorganized, and I've probably lost so much. I used to be sending all my crafting stuff to my bank alt, but then I never logged on my bank alt, so it was like left in the mail void, and I think a lot of it's just been auto-deleted by now. Just because it was so much, I didn't really want to ever deal with it. But it's also like at the same time, I just hoard all the crafting stuff because maybe I'll get in a crafting kick and want to do all the crafting. But yeah, I guess, I don't know. I think the Runekeeper's still seeing us in the fight. But it's getting pretty late, and since we finished Carn Dûm, we did some deeds and leveling while doing it. I was kind of thinking as like the kid, they might do some more stuff for the deeds, but I'm probably about done with that. So while we do some of the stream wrapping stuff and see what else going on with that, I will actually do a little bit here with the Midsummer, or with the Great Wedding, and I think I'm ready to travel for the actual wedding. So this takes quite a while to go through, but it's kind of nice. And at some points you do have to do a couple things. Wow. But as I mentioned, I'll go through this whole thing on the way down, but just to point out a few things, I think it's pretty neat, the whole environment they did with all the people here, and just all the different things with them. I won't be talking too much about this, I'll just let it play in the background and get out of the way. I think you're supposed to technically stand here as a participant, somewhere around here. You get a better view if you just like, oops, go up here a little bit. And if you're in like first person, you can just pretend you're not actually there. but I will stand here. And as far as this stream goes, Carn Dûm was fun. As I mentioned, I haven't actually done any of the Angmar instances, streamed them since I think kind of around the Nora launch or shortly after that when I finally got level 50. So it's pretty fun to go through, and got some good deed progress and did a little bit of leveling on the captain. I do want to get my captain up to where he can join the Moria group. So I don't know how many Moria instances we will do, but I might try to set up a second week and have a little bit of focus on Moria while we're doing otherwise Helm's Deep. And then outside of this server, as far as like streaming and stuff goes, I'm going through Westerohan on my Runekeeper and Angmar on my Beorning, or at least instances on my Beorning. I might eventually start my new series with the champion, but otherwise my focus will be on Louisden, on Arkenstone, and outside of streams I will be working on my captain videos for next week, and then after that I will get back to doing some guides. I have 2 guides this week, and after seeing what people think of those, I will start working on the other ones. So yeah, that's what's going on with the upcoming content. And let me make sure I don't need to do anything here. I thought I needed to do something because nothing was going on, and I just have it like none of the UI showing. You can actually go here if you all want to see what's going on while I talk about the upcoming stuff. So yeah, that's what's upcoming with videos. It's just kind of the progress with my channel. Tomorrow specifically, as I mentioned, I'm getting so I bought a couch since I don't have one, and I got 1 box for the couch, which came with some of the cushions and some of the couch, and I'll be getting the 2nd box for that tomorrow, so that's exciting. I might share some of that on Twitter, just to share that because I'm talking about it on here. But otherwise, tomorrow I will do a stream in the evening. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting about it, we're doing Deeping Wall as a kin event, and I think Saturday technically we have a kin event, but I don't think I will be joining that because it's just like more epic battles, and I don't want to do that many epic battles. They're not quite my favorite thing, and I have some other things just in general in the game I want to get done. But the weekend's a good time for me to do videos and edit, so that's what I'll work on. And Saturday, I think I mentioned that I would try to do morning streams. Maybe I will try that this Saturday and see how that goes. Couch unboxing stream. The problem is I already unboxed part of it. But maybe I'll do a little bit of couch unboxing video. It's kind of funny when I unboxed it because it's pretty heavy. It was like an 80-pound box, I think. So I just slid the box across my floor and then opened it and took everything out. But I was really wondering where everything was, because it was supposed to come in 2 boxes, but from like the pictures on Amazon, the boxes look different than the one I received, so that was a little bit weird. But the 2nd box is coming tomorrow, and I think the company, it sounded like a Chinese one with like their broken English text. When I asked them where the 2nd box was, but got the tracking number for that and I know it's coming. But anyway, yeah, that's possible that I'll at least do a video and post that on Twitter with it. Maybe I'm trying to find out with OBS how I can share like videos as they're going on. I did one at the very beginning of this, but I actually just had desktop capture of an actual video playing. I need to try to find a better way because I think there are ways you can do that. So I could actually like share that stuff in the middle of a stream or something like that. Something I need to investigate. But anyway, yeah, that's exciting with the couch. Otherwise, what was I going on about tomorrow? Tomorrow's just a busy day in general for me. Deeping Wall, so I'll be back on Westerohan on my Runekeeper in the evening, basically. And... oops. I was pressing F12, but I wasn't even in LOTRO. It was probably like low FPS looking for you all. let's see, it looks like the Great Wedding is going okay again. I'm not paying too much attention to it, it's just something to have in the background while I'm very slowly wrapping this stream up. Otherwise, just trying to think of any other content or anything to share. Because pretty much all I'm doing is streaming and making videos. That's all I used to do. I guess I'm still just like getting back into the flow with that. So I have been back to doing videos and streams for a few weeks now. If I actually look, I can look on my YouTube dashboard. Need to actually maximize that to do it. And it takes me a while to find it, so with YouTube Studio they update a lot of things, and I don't know how interesting this is to you all. So one very weird thing is I have actually gotten, the number of subscribers I just like get has gone down since I started making videos again. I've actually been losing like a lot more subscribers since I started making videos, so that's a pretty weird thing. But I started, it looks like I did 2 videos, 2 streams, August 18th and 19th, and I had to take a break right after coming back. But then I've had something daily ever since the 23rd, so that is like 2 weeks ago, almost. No, about a week and a half ago. So yeah, just like still getting back in the flow of making videos and doing streams. I think I know upcoming I will start becoming more busy with like school and classwork and adding homework on top of more actual work to do in the future. Like right now, just starting and there's just not too much, but yeah, that is kind of what's going on. So really just still getting back used to that, as I keep saying and repeating over and over. But anyway, I guess it's a good time to wrap this stream up because I'm really going nowhere and just rambling on about nothing. So as far as this goes, I don't think I have to do anything. Yeah, still listening to the speeches. I hope y'all did enjoy the stream, and me going through Carn Dûm is pretty much all we did, even though, again, I thought we might do a little bit more, but I hope y'all did enjoy that. And I enjoyed talking about the captain and some of the instances early on as far as Ingmar and how I enjoy them. But if you all did enjoy, please consider liking and subscribing for more, and thanks for watching and joining, everyone.